In this Asempra Business Continuity Server example, we'll recover an entire Exchange server using the virtual recovery aspects of the product. Notice this Exchange server has two storage groups available to it that are being currently protected. We can look at the history of what's being maintained in the system by pressing the History button. This will pop up a slider bar and allow us to move backwards in days, hours, minutes, or seconds. By moving the slider bar, we can now view the data from the point in time that we select. The system will refresh itself and it will give us that particular point in time. If we don't want that point in time, we can simply move back to the current time or to another time in the past. We can also access this with a simple drop-down calendar where we can select the day and time that we want to see. In most cases, we want to use real-time mode to recover the most recent copy of the data. We'll switch back to real-time mode and we'll present the view of the data as it was at that particular point in time. Now, at this point, what we're actually going to do is we're going to go into our Exchange server and we're going to, in essence, crash the server. We'll take the remaining store offline and dismount it completely. Once that happens, we'll then go down to the file system area of the system and we'll actually physically delete all the data associated with the Exchange store. Now we have a completely non-functional Exchange server with no data whatsoever available to it. We're going to restart a client Outlook session to make sure that we have in fact lost connectivity to the Exchange server, which in fact you see that we have. And now at this point we're going to go back to the Asempra Management Console, and at this point we're going to start the restore process. So by making sure we're in our real-time mode, we can right-click Recover on the Exchange server, and this will start at a recover wizard that will allow us to recover the entire Exchange server. You can see we're going to go back to our original location, but we certainly could point it at another Exchange server if we wanted to redirect the output. Clicking Next and Begin Recovery Now will start the recovery process. Notice in the top right we have a recovery progress window. We're going to watch the status and we're going to look for a ready for access. Once the data becomes ready for access, we're then able to go back to the Exchange server and restart those services. So after about 15 seconds, we're ready to do that. So now we can go back to our Exchange server. We can see that the directory appears with the data. We can start to mount the stores even though the data hasn't fully made it back. Once the stores mount, we'll actually go back and we'll see what the status of the recovery is. So give it another couple of seconds here. There, it's finished. We'll now go back to the server interface and we'll see that we're only 16% through the recovery of the Exchange server. Now we'll verify communications. Where we did not have communications before, we'll see that Outlook comes right up. We attach to the mailbox and we'll send a test message to make sure that we have full communication capability to the Exchange server. We'll send this email to ourselves. It will immediately come back to verify that we can both write and read to the Exchange server while the recovery is happening. That way, we've now validated that the Exchange server is functional and available to the users. And notice, we're 54% complete the entire recovery of the Exchange server. This concludes the demonstration and the functionality of virtual recovery for a Microsoft Exchange server with the Asempra Business Continuity Server.